Welcome everyone to the Minimalism and Automotive Insight Series 2025, sponsored by Jasper Colin. We are thrilled to have with us today Nolian Diaz.
On the web, you'll find that sometimes automotive defines minimalism as meaning simplistic. I think give examples of vehicles that literally have very few options and they have very low technology and they look very basic. But I think that minimalism means something very different, and it conveys the idea of less is more, but in a very deep way. So it's really simplifying lines, options. In aesthetics, it's like simple lines are powerful. Everything that you see is utilitarian. The objective of minimalistic design is to create, through a more peaceful approach, also something very impactful and meaningful. In the US market, definitely minimalism is being introduced, and mostly by the EV companies. Even Rivian, for example, Lucid, Rivian, and then of course Tesla have introduced minimalism. And I think it's being interpreted by the traditional OEMs as the way of the future. Also in Europe, for example, like within Mercedes-Benz, you can see that the way Mercedes-Benz is executing its line of EVs, it has this modern, also minimalistic approach. Another great example is Porsche, for example. Taycan essentially is an EV version of the Panamera, of the Porsche Panamera. But if you look at the interior design, you see drastically different execution. The Taycan being the minimalistic, more modern approach, where a lot of the different functions are done through screen menus. You look at the instrument panel and the center console, the Panamera, it still has like a lot of buttons everywhere, right? You can tell that their EV execution also is sort of the more modern minimalistic execution, which eventually will be, frankly, the execution of all next generation vehicles, including internal combustion engines. It will be really a sign of modernity, in my view. Let's go back to Tesla for a second. So Tesla eliminated every single button they could legally eliminate. So there are certain legal requirements, and they met them into a Cybertruck. There's very few extra physical buttons. Now, some people are complaining that there are too few buttons. They would like to have the climate control right there, so they know what it is. They just go right there instead of having to go through the screen. Right?
True.
So it's a process. And as we know in technology, the way that you improve, you get better is by learning from mistakes. So I think maybe the minimalistic approach have been over-dialed a bit, perhaps, from a consumer perspective. The next stage of that is understanding sort of what is a hybrid execution that really maximizes customer convenience and satisfaction, right? So maybe not total minimalism, still basically minimalism, but with a few exceptions that improve the customer experience.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate all of your time today, Nolian.